So I'm in Agile 2008 in Toronto. I'm here with Willem Van Den Ende, and conference is doing well. Are you enjoying the conference so far?
Yeah, it seems to be. I really like the open space area with the beach and the chairs, and the sessions seem to be doing well as well. I think the stages are working well. I like the music improvisation that's going on. It seems to be a really relaxed atmosphere.
Yeah, it's pretty nice too. It seems like there's a lot of different types of people that are here as well this year. It's grown, and there's a different type of crowd, it seems. Different people interested in different types of things. I think we're finding that some of the people that have come here this year have now tried it out for a year and now want to come back and find out how can I do my job better.
Yeah, I was hosting some experience reports in the culture stage yesterday from people who've been doing this for 4 years or more and telling about their experiences.
Right.
So definitely seems to be more and more practitioners conference.
Yes, definitely. And I think the increase in attendance I think also relates to kind of the pace of Agile adoption. We're seeing a greater rise in Agile adoption in many organizations. Is that kind of what you're seeing as well too, or it's kind of growing over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it seems especially in the Netherlands, where I'm from, the last 1.5 years, there seems to be definitely more interest in larger corporations starting to adopt Agile in various ways.
Mm-hmm. And do you see really, I think in the past some of the enterprise organizations have been kind of the laggards. They're really not the ones that are jumping in with both feet to say, yes, we want to convert everything to Agile, or we want to begin new Agile projects. Have you seen any more, newer adoption amongst Agile or amongst enterprise types of organizations? Yeah,
there's a large telecoms manufacturer in my area that's sort of gone, everybody must do Scrum and stuff. Sure. So. I also see some grassroots movements that go slowly from pocket to pocket.
Sure.
I think in the long run those are going to be more successful. Mm-hmm. I've also worked for a large American computer manufacturer, and they said, well, it's people in the Netherlands, you have to do Scrum, and your iterations have to be this long, and after 6 weeks you must take a week break, and that wasn't so successful. You can't really force it. You have my preferred strategy is to make people enthusiastic about things that they can do, and then figure out what would be most valuable to you, and then work in small steps and use feedback and go from there.
You know, you're talking about the grassroots efforts. It seems like that was always the way it was done in the past, and I think management is playing a different role now. How do you see the role of management in Agile adoption now? Is it changing, or should it change, or should they stay out of the way?
Well, I think the way it ideally would work is that they would support people at the grassroots level who want to do this stuff, right, and then work slowly, maybe do some pilots, and evaluate and find, because Agile it's not a method, it's a very variation of stuff that you can choose from, so you should really find something that works for your context. So one of the things I'm seeing, especially with some consultants, it seems, they really force one way of doing things, and then the testers get pissed off because they're sort of left out or whatever. So keep the things that work, and ask yourself in your company what's working right now, and only change the 1 or 2 things that really help you move forward, and maybe change 1 or 2 more things after that. So sort of my preferred way of changing is sort of retrospectives driven development. So use retrospectives, figure out what you want to change, and then choose a few things rather than saying, well, everybody must do this. It's good to send people to training so they have an idea of what things they could do.
Right.
But then it's up to them to figure out exactly how to do it. So.
Right. So what do you think about, it seems in the past that tools have always been kind of anti-Agile. You want to do work with fewer tools, but I think, what do you think the tool vendors could do to kind of foster future adoption of Agile? Maybe the consulting.
I think leave out some features.
Yeah.
I think some of the commercial tools I'm seeing, they have way too many features. So if you start an Agile project and you're using some, say, planning tool, and there's all these features, people get lost.
Right.
Or it's easy to do document-driven development because a planning tool allows you to upload documents, and then it's still the same, but now it's called Agile. So at first start out with index cards and doing stuff on the walls, and then if you need more, for instance, if you're distributed, add something, but as simple as possible. So tool vendors could release some simpler versions with less features.
No, that's true. Yeah, because I wonder how, how those types of teaming type of efforts will scale for a larger corporation. I mean, I think probably when you get into larger and larger organizations, I think maybe tools might be more likely to be useful. I don't know.
Yeah, that might very well be. I think I'd like to delay that as long as possible,
Sure,
because
yeah.
also from a management point of view, it's about observing and working with the teams and seeing for yourself what actually is going on. And often tools are used to replace communication rather than foster it. So, like someone was saying yesterday in one of the workshops, there is occasion where someone asked him to install a trigger in this tool to remind him of communicating to Mary, his coworker. And he said, "Oh, Mary is just
Right there.
it's right there. Why don't you go talk to her?" So it's kind of risky, and you missed. At least I missed the interactivity in planning meetings. One of my corporate clients used one of these tools, and their planning meeting would be the project manager would use the computer and he would enter the stories, and everybody was just sitting there. And there was not the same energy when you have just people around the table with cards. So.
Right, that's true.
So if you needed to use the cards to do a planning meeting or print out the stories, because if you use a table and stuff, everybody can be involved, and then have someone enter the stuff afterwards, so people still have the visibility.
That's true.
On the, I think for developers, the tools have improved quite a lot. Better version control systems and new distributed version control systems that make it a lot easier to do stuff more quickly. Continuous integration tools, the refactoring support in Eclipse, IntelliJ, Visual Studio. It's just the barrier to get started is just that much lower.
That's true.
But now I find that people, when I do a technical course, for instance, people don't know that there is this refactoring menu where you can do all of these stuff. Okay, there's all this wonderful stuff that we didn't have years ago,
exactly.
and it makes it so easy.
And a lot of open source as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mainly use open source tools. If at all possible, because that if you work with a team, that saves you some management decisions.
Definitely.
Okay, we don't have to invest it. We'll just have to download this thing, and then we can try it out. And if
to
it doesn't work, we'll try something else.
So, any predictions for the future? Do you think this pace of Agile adoption is going to continue on this path, or do you think it'll scale off at some point?
Well, I think for the foreseeable future it will. We'll also see some spectacular failures, especially from the everybody should do Agile in the whole corporation in this particular way. So I think that will slow it a bit. People will talk about failure stories like with other methodology stuff. That's just the natural way things are.
Sure.